following episode contains violence. I shall be in mortal peril. Use your discretion, for I know you love me and might feign to consider a knife pointed to my beating heart. From 1603 and Tudor Time Machine, this is Episode 3 of Out Brief Candle, an inquiry into a murder at William Shakespeare's Globe Theatre.
I'm Gage.
And I'm Jessica, and we're Tudor Time Machine. Subscribe to our Tudor Time Machine channel on YouTube.
And listeners, you'll look fantastic in the Out Brief Candle swag. The link is on the YouTube channel and Instagram. You'll be Tudorific in the t-shirts. And we are here with our favorite time-traveling Tudor lady, Philadelphia Carey.
To the matter at hand, to the murder at hand. Murder, murder, murder most foul. You shall be astounded at what I have learned since our last.
Philadelphia, wait. Let's review what's happened. The boy player of William Shakespeare's company, Robert Pavey, was found murdered at the Globe Theatre with a knife in his throat.
On the night of the murder, Philadelphia snuck out of court to be with her lover, Richard Burbage, who is star of the playing company.
She was accompanied to the Globe by her maid, Jane.
Alack, alack, must we always Jane this and that? At my own great peril I went. For while 'tis delicious to love a man with a melodious voice, yet what secrecy I courted. If I were discovered with a lowly player, my reputation would be naught.
I hope, as he collapsed to bleed to death on the floor, Robert Pavey considered your reputation, Philadelphia.
Anyway, when the murder was discovered, Richard Burbage tried to help Philadelphia and Jane escape back to court, but plague broke out in the city, and the theater has been barricaded up by the authorities. Unbeknownst to Burbage, Philadelphia and Jane are now trapped at the Globe, hiding in the hut where the body of Pavey lies.
Philadelphia, last episode, you discovered that the players Armin and Sly were wine smugglers and maybe killed Pavey because he was blackmailing them. So it's getting complicated. Who came into the hut after they left?
'Twas the millstone wife of Richard Burbage, Winifred. Winifred marched over to Pavey's bloody, desperate corpse with the murderous dagger still in his throat without flinching. She is flint-hearted. She stared down at the dead horror unmoved. Oh, I do bethink me that woman capable of any deed.
You don't like your rival. What else is new?
She is no rival. She is so low I cannot see her. Nay, she is a bothersome speck in my eye. The tartness of her face sours ripe grapes. She has a murderer's mien.
Objection. Character assassination.
Philadelphia, you just don't like Winifred Burbage because you're having an affair with her husband.
Do you have any reason to suspect Winifred of the murder that's not a personal thing?
To suspect Winifred Burbage because she has a motive. The cow was not alone. The company manager, John Hemmings, was with her. He said in his maudlin moan, "Pavey, alas, poor Pavey. I knew him. Winnie, a fine fellow, of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy." And Winifred snapped, "Do not quote. I care not that he is dead as a greedy rat who ate the poisoned sweetmeat. Pavey was nothing worth."
Wow, did she really say that?
I cannot recall her words exactly. Her words are so common, I do not know her expressions.
Try. If you suspect her, her exact words are extremely important.
You don't want to frame Winifred, do you, Philadelphia? We want to find the real murderer.
Yes, what was her motive?
Indeed, as I learned from overhearing their conversation, she sees advantage in Pavey's death. For with his death, the company will do the play by Ben Jonson.
I don't see how that's motive to kill someone.
Oh, Pittigans, Sejanus, not Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. Pavey was to play the female role of Olivia, and without an Olivia there can be no Twelfth Night. There is no great female role in Sejanus.
Wait, what are you talking about? Pavey was murdered over the performance schedule?
Wait, This is 1603. And I remember reading that during the transition from Queen Elizabeth's reign to James I taking the throne, James promised that he would become a patron for one of the London playing companies. It was a huge competition.
I've read the history. Having royal patronage was a huge thing.
Indeed, James I, the new king, has decreed that he will patronize one of the London playing companies, and it will be that company's great fortune to become the king's men.
So how was that competition set up?
All of the playing companies in London, and there were a number of them, wanted the honor, but there were a bunch vying for it. It's not just about the acting. It was about the whim of this guy, Edward Tilney, master of the revels. He was really the middleman between the playing companies and the king, and he had all the power because he would recommend his choice to the king. And maybe Tilney would like a play like Sejanus, Ben Jonson doing serious Roman history, honor and a lot of speechifying, but maybe he would prefer Shakespeare's whimsical, music-filled fantasy dramedy of Twelfth Night. Sejanus is a much better play than the fluff Twelfth Night. Philadelphia. Sejanus is a very wordy, slow-moving, cumbersome thing. It's not at all Ben Jonson's usual cracking comedy, sly characters up to no good kind of fun. Nay, no, Sejanus is a serious work that shall be remembered forever.
Most people now have never heard of Sejanus, and I can tell you that the London playing company that won King James's royal patronage was...
Be still, I would not know. 'Twill be a devilment to know the future. My body would be disemboweled with hot tongues, but never receive the mercy of death.
Whoa, you are a time traveler.
I cannot change the future. I would not know it. Oh, be still, be still, be still.
Sure, okay. I don't understand the rules of time travel, but whatever you say.
I say disclose nothing to bedevil me. But I will explain to you, as if you were a prattling babe, why Winifred desires the company's stage Sejanus rather than Shakespeare's comedy. Twelfth Night, follow me now, dear Gage, has no dignified, honourable role for her husband, Richard Burbage, to shine in. Twelfth Night is full of clowns and buffoons. Sejanus is a tragedy set in Rome. Had Pavy acted Olivia in Twelfth Night, he would have stolen all the glory. With the production of Sejanus, Burbage will win more honour on his own head by playing the role of a Roman for King James. And in a toga, Richard's calf will be eye-catching.
If you say so. But everyone loves Twelfth Night. It's an endlessly popular play.
You are wrong. Twelfth Night is a trifle, best forgotten.
It's a comedy, not a trifle. It's about love blindness and cruelty, and it has twins.
Winifred is a dolt, but she at least has the discernment to appreciate Sejanus as a masterpiece. She would murder Pavy to promote her own husband and his genius and to stop a production of Twelfth Night.
That is an intense accusation, Philadelphia.
Stop quibbling. This is not the time for the comedy versus drama debate.
Philadelphia, you say Winifred has a motive for murdering Pavy, but what did you actually see her do when she saw the body?
The woman has a face of ice. She betrayed nothing. She held a sprig of herbs and Hemmings a sheet. They were there to clean up poor Pavy's corpse. The lady and Hemmings lorded over the boy apprentice, John Rice. They barked to clean away the blood and perfume the wounds and orifices of the body.
All the orifices?
Of course. God's blood, you are squeamish. The body had to be attended, it fell to this apprentice, and Hemmings and Winifred were there to oversee.
Why would Hemmings care about the body being cleaned up? He's an actor.
Well, he was also the business manager of the company and a big shareholder. I think we would consider him more like a producer. He had to oversee everything, I guess, even dead bodies in his theater.
What did Hemmings say? What did Winifred say? Act out the conversation for us.
Never. Winifred Burbage is a role I decline. I shall only report on the words between the manager and wife. Winifred cares only for her share in the playing company profits.
Like what we think of as investment shares? Was it usual to own shares in a theater company?
In 16th century London playing companies, the main actors in the theater had shares. The more shares a player had, the more profits from the theater. So Shakespeare, Burbage, and Hemmings all had big shares of the Globe's profits. The actors took boy apprentices to teach them the acting trade. The boys would usually play the female roles to begin with, but those boys like John Rice and probably Pavy, they wouldn't necessarily have shares.
So Winifred and Burbage have a big financial stake in the company.
Indeed. Winifred cares nothing for Pavy's death. She said, with no remorse, mind you, that she gloried in Pavy's death. Now Burbage would play Sejanus upon the stage and speak such a quantity of words the king would wonder at his genius. She cooed that Burbage would win the king's patronage for the company. The king would adore him. All the other players in London would be swallowed up like the Egyptians at the parting of the Red Sea. Their brains dashed, their guts spilled, that they would perish and only Burbage stand triumphant, and that she herself would ride into London naked on a horse, a victorious Lady Godiva, and she and her husband would earn such coin. Oh, Winifred is a very she-devil.
Did she really say all that?
I decline to swear it, but that was the pith of her speech. Hemmings had a heart. He said, "I can glory in no man's death, least of all a fellow player's. My heart breaks that his life has ended thus. It is such a sadness, such an abomination. I would it were not true. I cannot contain myself. I feel a tear trickle down my cheek." And that savage dog Winifred barked, "Do not be such an actor. You may have seen many a dead man before." Pitikins, she has not the refined sensibilities of a court lady, comme moi. Oh, I pity my Dicky Bee to have such a wife. Okay, Philadelphia, maybe Winifred did commit the murder of Pavy to promote her husband acting Sejanus in front of the king. Competition, especially life-changing competition involving financial profit, makes people do crazy things. I believe it so.
Did the apprentice John Rice add anything to the conversation?
The apprentice asked Hemmings, "Good sir, as this poor Pavy is now in heaven, will the role of Olivia fall to me, and will I receive a bit more coin for my role?" Winifred screamed that with Pavy dead there would be no production of Twelfth Night. But as she turned aside, I saw Hemmings' mouth. "We shall see, lad, we shall see."
He asked about a part with Pavy's body lying right there? That is pretty cold, too.
This John Rice is an opportunist. He wants a better role and a raise.
It looks like John Rice has a motive, too. What happened next?
It became a hurly-burly as Winifred boxed the ears of the apprentice. Hemmings tried to shush her, reminding that she would be heard from the street and cause a general alarm, and he kept insisting that if the murder were discovered, the play done was no matter, as they would immediately forfeit the contest. King James would not choose a playing company visited by death and scandal. Hemmings shushed and pleaded, but that Winifred is a screamer.
But would Winifred actually kill Pavy? It just seems too risky. Couldn't she get the players to do Sejanus in some other way?
Yeah, and was it a done deal that the company would do Sejanus if Pavy was dead?
That implicates Burbage as well. He would be better off doing Sejanus. If we think that the contest is what inspired the murder, Burbage has a strong motive.
There is no implication of my Burbage. I say it is Winifred, not her husband. But if it is a member of the playing company, I say the suspicion should fall on Master Shakespeare himself.
Why on earth? Wouldn't he want his play Twelfth Night to be performed? Why would he kill Pavy? He needed Pavy to play Olivia.
Yeah, Philadelphia, you suspect Winifred of killing Pavy so Sejanus will be performed for the king because Pavy was to play Olivia. So how could Pavy's death benefit Shakespeare? What possible motive would Shakespeare have? Just this. Attend me. Pavy was out of favour with Shakespeare. Shakespeare did not want him to play Olivia. He thought Pavy would butcher the role. One night, Dickie B regaled me with a tale of Shakespeare and Pavy coming to blows over Pavy demanding the role of Olivia and Shakespeare refusing him.
Really? Blows? Wow. Why was Shakespeare so against Pavy? Wasn't Pavy's specialty playing female roles?
Yes, Pavy had been favoured, but he was getting older, 16 at least, dear Gage. The vogue is to have boys, those without yet a beard to play the ladies. Pavy had a beard, and his voice was no longer that of a youth. It warbled.
I don't think that William Shakespeare killed Robert Pavy.
But your thoughts are a fog because you believe Shakespeare a man of special worth.
I don't think Shakespeare had a strong enough motive.
I don't know. Shakespeare was very ambitious. He worked hard, he bought land, he made investments. He was always thinking of his future, and if the king chose his company performing one of his plays, it would be a massive victory. He didn't want Pavy to tank his play.
No way. I just don't believe it.
But if Shakespeare wants his work to make the best possible impression on the king, and he didn't want Pavy starring in his play, that is a motive. Perhaps, dear Gage, you do not want to believe it was Shakespeare because you admire the man.
Perhaps you want to believe it was Winifred because you dislike her, or you think it was Shakespeare because you fear he might outshine your Dickie B.
Listen, okay, that is why we have to take our personal feelings out of the equation. We need to keep our minds open to anyone being the murderer.
Okay. Well, I think this kid, John Rice, has the most to gain. Or maybe Winifred, or maybe the smugglers, Sly and Armin, not Shakespeare. There are lots of company members who have a good reason to kill this poor Pavy.
'Tis so, and I say I do not know if it was guilt or honest horror, but John Rice did refuse to touch the body or remove the knife or mop the blood. Did guilt sway his hand? He ran away with Hemmings and Winifred in pursuit. Perhaps Winifred paid the boy to strike the dagger home, for she could not. Philadelphia, you don't know that. I do not. But now Jane and I are left in the hut, still with Pavy's bloody dagger-struck body before us. And methinks 'twill be no good for me to be discovered. Winifred may put an end to my life, too.
Now you think she's a serial killer? Philadelphia, you are just getting out of control.
We need to establish if our suspects have alibis. That is the first step in figuring out the murder. I hazard Winifred Burbage does not have one, and no doubt someone saw her skulking about the theatre in a suspicious manner. Her swollen body would be hard to mistake.
Winifred is pregnant? How pregnant?
Oh, she's huge. She would be brought to bed at any moment.
A very pregnant murderer. That's a motive. She'll be worried about the new baby's upbringing, legacy, finances. She will want a nod from the king.
Maybe, but I wonder if a very pregnant woman might have had a harder time sneaking up on a man and forcefully stabbing him in the neck. I put nothing past the Minkins' Winifred. She would certainly have carried a dagger in her bodice, as she must live amongst low types, players and ruffians. Yes, she drew the blade and killed him. She has done it. She has done it, I am without doubt.
You have to prove it, Philadelphia. And there is no way to get a constable or the watch or whatever it would be into the theater to investigate because of the quarantine. You said so yourself.
I shall investigate. Philadelphia, how can you possibly do that? You don't want anyone to know you're there. True. My presence here would only point to my affair with Dickie B, and that must be a solemn secret.
Anyway, why would anyone believe you? Oh, this la-di-da lady of the court has the authority to investigate a murder?
Perhaps, and yet I must do it. You understand why it has fallen to me to solve this bloody deed?
Not exactly.
Only I possess the wit, the insight. Only I can solve the murder of Brief Candle. I very much like my title.
I think you might have borrowed it.
Oh, fie on you. I must consider. There are many costumes in the hut. They are in stacks all about the place. Yes, I shall set Jane to find one suitable for a man of the watch, complete with sham beard, and I will disguise my voice, and all will be convincing. Voila!
What will Jane do?
Oh, she too will disguise herself. It is a horror, but I believe as two men of the law we will strike fear into the hearts of these players. I will uncover the murderer.
It's like Only Murders in the Building.
A real murder investigation. Yes, friends, Tudorfiles, True Crime Amantes, I must don my disguise. Listen in next time to Outbrief Candle and subscribe on YouTube. Make Tudor Time Machine a huge presence on the web.
I wonder whether Philadelphia will be able to pass herself off.
And going undercover is scary. I hope she doesn't lose her nerve.
It's a little dangerous. Outbrief Candle is a production of 1603 and Tudor Time Machine. And many thanks to barber surgeon Master Mark. And you'll look fantastic in our Outbrief Candle swag. The link is on the YouTube channel. You'll be Tudorific in the t-shirts. And thank you for joining us.